Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. My name's Rich. You can find me on X at FuzzDoomRip, all the socials at rich.piva, as a Musicpedia of Metal Doom reviews, and as a Doom Charts contributor. I'm super excited today as we continue the dark journey through the desert and beyond with the second time Daytripper is joining our show. How are the Sages doing today?
We're doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for inviting us back on for another conversation. We're incredibly excited about all the things that we got planned for the future. We have our EP coming out this Friday, October 24th. Just depending on when it's going to be released, it's coming out soon, or it might already be out on all streaming platforms. But we're incredibly excited about that, and happy to unveil more of the backstory, the mythos, the lore behind what's going on with the Daytripper.
We are very excited to have you guys. On the first episode, we had the Scribe Sage and the Rogue Sage with us. Now, introduce, please, the other sages that we have in this discussion that we're having.
I am the Pirate Sage. It is my ancestor who helped the Tripper travel beyond the different lands on his journey, and we'll find more about that out in future. And then over here we have the Warrior Sage.
Yes, I'm the Warrior Sage. My ancestors fought against the Jarl's tyranny, and the Trippers found me and brought me along.
Absolutely, our newest member, the drummer, the Warrior Sage, and we're extremely excited to have him on and to be a part of it.
Excellent. Before we get to you guys, when we talked the last time, were telling us about the Alchemist and dropping some hints of what was coming next. Before we get to the EP, I want to talk a little bit about the journey over the barren lands of the Midwest to get to Maryland for Doomfest. Thought that was really cool. People were super excited to see what you guys were all about. How was that journey? Did you get anywhere where there were like-minded individuals on the way? Did you get into any battles on the way there? And what happened when you finally got to Maryland?
Absolutely. We had an incredible journey. It was definitely far, journeying all the way from Arizona all the way to Maryland. We had about like a week, a few stops in between, but it was fantastic. First stop was in Austin, Texas, and then we moved on to NOLA in Louisiana. That was fantastic. We played at a venue called The Goat. Shout out to them. It was just absolutely incredible vibes, great atmosphere, and an incredible turnout, I think, especially for a Monday. So the crowd was full, and we had a couple people at each show just really, really excited, with vinyl in hand, excited and just super excited that we got some of the music out there and that people really loved it. The road to Maryland Doomfest was pretty smooth sailing, I would say, most of the way, and absolutely warm welcome there in Maryland. Got to play to a fantastic crowd. Loved that people were headbanging, listening to the new songs, and it was just our first time really getting out there. And so I can't, I'm very excited that we had a smooth trip, not a lot of hiccups on the road. The car treated us very nicely. The weather treated us very nicely. And being from the desert, we were used to the heat coming in. So we were ready for the journey.
I feel like there might have been some kind of spell cooked up to make sure that car survived that, whatever that journey is down, whatever that road that gets you from Arizona to Maryland. And I feel like also if you had a club called The Goat, you guys would be like the house band if you had one of those in Arizona, right? I feel like you would just, 5 days a week, Daytripper at The Goat would be perfect. So when you also, I was looking at some of the information that I don't know what you call a PR guy in the realm that you guys live in, but the PR guy who sent me all this information via Scribe, also known as this blast email that was sent to me, mentions that you also played with Castle Rat, if I'm not mistaken. Did that happen?
Absolutely, yes. We just played with Castle Rat when they came through on their recent tour, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Played a local venue called Last Exit, and it was a sold out show. We saw a lot of the same fans coming out for us, but a lot of new fans too. And we are huge fans of Castle Rat even before they really took off with King Volume Records. We've been kind of jamming on their album. They came to Arizona a couple of years ago at Yucca Tap Room, and so I'm super happy and super proud of them for being also a very lore and theatrically rich, heavy band. But I see a lot of successes. They absolutely tore it up. All praise be to the Rat Queen and their journeys as well as they continue to preach about the realm, and it is super influential for us as well to do that. And it was great to meet them. They're a bunch of wonderful people.
The feedback I get when Castle Rock plays is usually the shows that of bands that we like or bands that you're in are dudes that look like us, right? And I feel like Castle Rock is kind of expanding the view of who goes and sees heavy stoner doom underground bands, which is pretty cool, I would have to say.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And there was just a lot of people from a lot of different demographics. People were dressing up too. And I absolutely love that as well. We obviously love playing into the theatrics, really getting deep into just the heavy metal themes and having some fun with it too. So it was so much fun. The place was, I think, maybe oversold a little bit. People even kind of coming out the door, they had to like open up some of the some of the garage windows too, because people were just absolutely flooding there. But it was a lot of fun.
Very cool. Very cool. So enough about these other bands. Let's talk about The Alchemist, and let's talk about what's going on there, because you teased it. You were sitting, I believe, in the Alchemist's lair or in the laboratory when we spoke. And if you watch the music video, there's definitely some stuff cooking up there, as well as another. Is she an official member of the band? She the additional new sage, the Seer Sage, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, unfortunately, she wasn't able to attend, but yes, she's absolutely an official member of the band, the Seer Sage, and holding it down with the synths, singing, doing harmonies, and also just maybe some additional instruments that we might showcase live as well. And she's absolutely incredibly talented, and we're super excited to have her on board. But yes, as an official member.
Excellent. So she's definitely prominent in the new music video, along with the Alchemist, who we are now introduced to. What can you tell us about the video, the EP, and kind of the continuation of the story from when we last met?
So, The Alchemist is actually a prequel to book one. It's actually the backstory of one of the characters that is introduced in book one. It is the pre-story of the Tin Man, and before he actually becomes the Tin Man. And this EP basically goes into the story of what drives him to search for that immortality that the Jarl deprives him of, and the consequences of his hubris and his ego, and just trying to find this solution to immortality, and it ultimately fails. And so that's what this EP is ultimately going to be about.
Very cool. Who is the alchemist, shall you say, of who created this video? Whose masterwork is that, or is it a combination of all you guys, or how did the video come to be for the Alchemist?
Yes, well, to helm the visual element, I took off the wizard's hood and put on the director's hat, and really helped to just visualize what the experiment of the Alchemist would look like. We really wanted to capture, in a music video, we were just really fans of narrative-heavy music videos, show us a visual of what's happening, and then have the band members playing around that. But the goal of really just creating the Alchemist laboratory, it was a group effort. It was filmed in our garage We outfitted the garage with a lot of great knickknacks, old items that you might find in an actual alchemist laboratory, tinctures, bottles, a copper cauldron to mix it all together. And the video itself is the alchemist in desperation. The time has run out. He is searching tirelessly for the ingredients necessary to harness this ineffable power. This to elongate his own life, create in his own way, if he can, a wisdom leaf, a highly coveted and sought after item in the Daytripper universe. So the alchemist is in his smoky laboratory, concocting the ingredients, creating the cauldron with all of the elements, the herbs that are used to fructify and to create the seeds necessary to water with the elixir of life and create, as he hopes, a wisdom leaf for his own salvation.
Very cool. There's outside of the story, when I watched that video, it reminds me of like 80s thrash band videos where there's stuff going on over here, but then there's still you guys rocking out too, which it had this kind of element of me watching Headbangers Ball as a youngster and seeing some of the ones that they showed, around like 3 a.m., not the ones that they, after the Poison video and the Tamer stuff. But once like, 2 o'clock hit, the third hour when you see the stuff that you really want to see, which to me was very, very cool. I love the kind of juxtaposition of the story and the band. And that's what I got from the video, as well as the story's awesome too. So
yeah, those were exactly the videos we were harnessing, trying to recreate ourselves, the ones that captured our attention as young metal fans, and also fans of the horror genre, independent film, really just trying in our own way to make essentially a short film with music behind it, elements that kind of coincided with parts of the song, and just rocking out and really just introducing the world to the alchemist, to the laboratory, and to the vision that we seek to create and perpetuate as a high fantasy lore-based metal band.
Love it. Speaking of that kind of vision and image, I want to go to the newest member, the Warrior Sage. When you were looking for a drummer, did you say he needs to look like a friggin' warrior? And here's the Warrior Sage, and he plays drums as well as he does also. Like, I mean, how perfect of a match was that when you were looking for a permanent drummer?
He is an absolutely beautiful specimen, and not only fits in with the band musically, but also visually. But no, we absolutely love the Warrior Sage. He's absolutely feeling the vibe and a fan of the Daytripper within our close circle of friends here in Arizona and in the metal scene. And in his personal life, works at a lot of the local metal venues and music venues around here. And it's just an absolutely perfect fit. We asked him to join just 2 months even before us going on our tour with Green Druid. And so it was a lot to bring him up to speed, but we were just incredibly excited, but absolutely a powerhouse of a musician.
What's your experience been so far, Warrior Sage, being part of this crew here?
It's been a wild experience. I mean, like you said, I was given the opportunity to come and join on with the Sages, and I had to get to work, learn the songs pretty quick there, and we hit the road with Green Druid and filmed a music video. We played sold out show with Castle Rat. We went all the way to Maryland, and personally for me this has been an amazing ride, and I look forward to the future. Really excited for this EP.
It's been a crazy 12 months for you guys, right? I mean, from the last time I talked to you, which was when I think the album was just about, or maybe it had been out for a little while, and we were chatting because I think you were going on tour, was why we started the discussion when I was talking with Buddy from Glory or Death. now to the Alchemist EP. And for the Pirate Sage, we didn't get a chance to meet the last time. So I wanted to ask you about, kind of I'm always intrigued by twin guitar attacks in bands and how that kind of works. I was talking to the band Ravine out of Portland, and they have two like just heavyweight guitarists, and it was interesting to see how they kind of wrote together and how they brought riffs and how that all worked. How does that work with the Scribe Sage when you guys are writing and when you guys are bringing guitar parts to the songs that you're doing?
So, I mean, we work really well as guitarists together. We've kind of, over the years have learned a lot about guitar together, just over, being friends for a long time. And when it comes to like writing music, we definitely have our preferred styles and things we like to do. So like the Scribe here, he loves the more weedy stuff. He loves jamming on that stuff. So he tends to take more of that front forerunner stuff, and then I'll hold down like the riff for that part. And then for me, I'm definitely more into like the heavier metal stuff, the black metal, the death metal, things like that. So I take the leads more so on those parts as well. But we do have a good chemistry and symbiosis when it comes to our guitar playing, and I think it's part of what makes our music and lore work really well.
Absolutely. Just to add on that too, like I think that both of our tones mesh together extremely well. I know we have two different guitars, two different cabs, different like distortions and fuzz that we use, and we even like different psychedelic tones too. And I think just having fun, really experimenting too, just like the Alchemist in a lab, like we really do feel like sometimes we're experimenting with our tones a lot. We communicate back and forth, and really trying to elevate the doom genre a little bit too. I know, some songs on even the Alchemist EP sometimes might stray away from the sort of classic everyday doom sound, with a little bit more punchier or faster riffs, and we just love diving into the dueling guitars and trying to find even more nastier harmonies to play together. So it's been a lot of fun, but absolutely love the two guitar sound.
I think that's why I dig you guys, and I think that's why the EP kind of sticks out as kind of a next step for you guys, because I love the fact that you guys have different kind of places you're coming from with the black metal and the death metal and the stoner stuff, because you hear it all. Like you kind of have that combo of all of it, whereas there are bands who play like kind of like death doom, who are just one note kind of death doom, and it's like bang, growl, bang. But you guys bring so much more to it, and you have all of these different directions I think you're going in. And then you throw in the Seer Stage and her voice in there, and it's like, oh shit, this is like something beyond what you're hearing with some of the other bands that are out there. Which is why I think you, as heavy as you guys are, also have this appeal to some of the more stoner doom who prefer kind of the more straightforward stuff. Which is why I think you're probably, the Castle Rat fans probably didn't boo you off the stage. You know what I mean? Like they're that different kind of point of view. You guys still have it with still without kind of compromising any of your heavy, which is why I think there's that appeal there. So that's the question that I have though is, how do you decide when the Seer Sage comes in? Because you could overuse that. You know what I mean? It can almost wind up being a little gimmicky if you overuse it, or if you underuse it. You have people like, give me more Seer Sage. Like, what's the process there? I know the story kind of will guide a lot of it too, but how do you think about that?
I think, and I do think that is something that we consciously think about, and we do have a lot of elements with the band and with the violin, with the Seer Sage, different dueling guitars. We're not afraid to go a little bit fast or heavy, or incorporate maybe sludge tones, or just classic doom riffs. But I think we do have a rule in Daytripper: there's no such thing as too many songs, and we constantly write, we constantly bounce back ideas, And, we really will take different riffs and try to make them as best as they could be. If sometimes maybe the Seer Sage and her vocals, that it just doesn't fit, or maybe that doesn't really necessarily elevate the song, although her voice is absolutely extraordinary. We want to make sure that we're taking these ideas and making them the best that they can be, and not just kind of filling in the blocks. Oh, hold on, we need the violin here. Oh, hold on, we need we got to have harsh vocals. And I know even on The Alchemist, I know me personally, I did a lot of singing on book one, and I still do have singing parts too. But with The Alchemist, I have very little parts. I really am just featured on one of the last song, Hubris. But that's just kind of what I think the EP called for. And I think that's kind of where we stand too, is just trying to make each idea as best as it can be when venturing into different towns.
Love it. So for those of us who are fans of the first record and have not been able to hear, I've been lucky enough to have access to the 4 tracks on the new EP, what would you say about these songs, the prequel to the first record, that will get people pumped up, excited, or maybe even surprise them a little bit of what's coming?
Absolutely. I think that book one was a huge step forward, and we're super happy for how well it was received. And it is really soaked in a lot of classic doom, weedy, catchy riffs. And I think that we, of course, still honor that and still a big part of the Daytripper sound. But I do think that we are stepping into a little bit more of what a true Daytripper sound and experience is going to be like with the Alchemist EP. Adding on the newer members, I think that the Warrior Sage's drumming is absolutely perfect for the new sound. And I think the Seer Sage is really bringing an ethereal sound to us as well. We're not afraid to get to the darkest trenches and maybe have a sort of hell or Mizmor vibe. And we're certainly not afraid to really pump up the energy, maybe with some Gatecreeper influences as well. But I do think that these 4 tracks are incredibly strong. I think it's a little showcasing of maybe what's to come with the true Daytripper sound moving forward.
That's amazing that we're an album and an EP in, and we're still teasing what the true Daytripper sound is going to be. And that's it just adds to, I think, the lore of you guys, which is very cool. You guys are venturing out to the barren wasteland that they call the West Coast. I assume California at some point. Be careful. There's all sorts of crazy things that are going on over that way, so be prepared. What are you guys touring? What's the situation that's going on based on what I see? A West Coast swing maybe coming up?
Right now, we are currently booking for a West Coast tour, hopefully sometime aiming in May. Of course, want to make sure that, we're safe with our travels and making sure that we're going to places and in a good, comfortable setting. But our goal is to kind of go up. We have a lot of friends and fans up in Seattle, so that's kind of going to be the peak of our journey there. But hopefully doing and announcing a West Coast tour here pretty soon. But right now, just kind of in the earlier stages, we're booking and getting local bands and local support on everything as well. So that hopefully those announcements will come pretty early 2026.
We're bringing a warrior with us now.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine at this point. Right? Yeah. You never know what happens out on the road, and to have the warrior with you, it's again, you guys planned this perfectly. If you did or didn't, works perfectly. Where does the alchemist, the gentleman here who is the alchemist? He looks right at a central casting, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that came to be as I'm staring at him with the blue. I don't know what to call that thing. It looks like a lamp thing.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a close friend of ours and big fan of Daytripper and the band. His name is Curtis, And when we were looking to cast the role, I mean, the video lived or died by the Alchemist. The Alchemist is the central character, and Curtis is just he's just an incredible person. He works as an archaeologist as his day job. So is himself tinkering and
Could
finding
not be more perfect.
like this is perfect, and and distilling it too. He is essentially cultivating and growing a wisdom leaf, or in his laboratory. He was very excited to have gotten the offer. He looked great in the robes, and he was not afraid of the camera.
We're shout out to him too for being in a hot Arizona summer garage for 9 hours. Wow. While getting his scenes shot. So, I mean, a true testament to
with
his.
two sages yelling at him.
Yeah. The insanity shown on his face was close to the brutality that he was enduring. We really appreciate him doing that. I think he did a phenomenal job.
Love it, and I love the album art too. Though you guys are staying with the CD for the EP. I assume. Tell me about the cover art. Where did that come from? Because that is T-shirt material for sure. Love that artwork.
Yes, yeah, it was a deep dive, as with everything. We were ourselves in a laboratory of artists, kind of just distilling what we thought the cover should portray: an alchemist, a cauldron boiling over, and just a indescribable force bursting from within as the experiment goes awry. We looked at a lot of great artists, especially wanted to stick with more of a painterly look at because we weren't using the same artist as book one, but we did still want to kind of maintain a very similar art style. But the artist Solo Michello does incredible work that looks like it could be an 80s horror poster. He I think he recently did the one of the Fulci American tour posters. Very eye-catching, very just warm and intriguing. There's just so many parts of that picture I catch myself like looking at, from the laboratory behind him to just the shining light bursting from his eyes and mouth that immediately grabs the eyes, any size that you see.
Yeah, I love artwork where you see something different every time, like a detail that was not maybe there when you first looked at it, but like in the background, all the stuff that's going on. It's just it's very, very cool stuff. And yeah, the capturing the 80s horror, you guys are dead on. As a kid, my buddy and I in 8th grade, there was it was like a hardware store / video rental store. Like, I don't know how this happened, but all they had was just like the most B horror movies that you could possibly get. Like everything that you can imagine that an 8th grader would and should not see when it came to horror, and be in the best kind of way, right? Like it just, and I feel like you guys are just, you get it, and that is, I think, another reason why I'm kind of drawn to what you guys are doing. So, yeah, so the Sages, this has been awesome. I will say that this will be out prior to or on the day that the new EP drops. It's called The Alchemist. It comes out October 24th of 2025. It is a digital and CD release. You guys can order it, right? And everyone can go grab it on Bandcamp, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And y'all should. And if you don't have the first record, go buy one of the fancy vinyls, because there's all sorts of fun colors and stuff of what you guys have cooked up in the lab there. So
moved all of our merch over to our website, daytripperdoom.com. So you can get the CD. We have some new merch out there as well, a couple new t-shirt designs, and also tickets to the upcoming show. If you're in the Arizona area, we are playing at the new Rosetta Room with an awesome fuzz rock and doom lineup as well on November 15th, on Saturday, November 15th.
Awesome. Who are you guys? Who are you guys playing with? Anybody who we know or should know?
Yeah, we some great names. A Weapon of Pride, Fuzz Evil, and Old Animals are all going to be
Excellent.
joining us. And yeah, we just and Old Animals was also on that Castle Rat show, and man, they just blew us away. Absolutely, I would definitely check.
I
I
will
mean,
check them out.
all those bands, but they really crushed it at that show.
Yeah, shout out to Fuzz Evil who have been on the show here, and we talked to them for like 70 minutes. It just kept going, which was wonderful. Great guys, and very cool scene that you guys are developing out there in the desert. Some very cool bands. Thank you, Sages. This has again been wonderful. Thank you for joining us and being on the show twice. Welcome to the Warrior Sage. Nice to meet you, Pirate Sage, again. The sages who I've met and we've talked to. Thank you so much for joining. Please come back again. Maybe when the tour kicks off in May, we'll have you guys back. We can talk about what's going on, and you can hint on what's next. And when we finally get to hear what the Daytripper sound actually is supposed to be, as you tease this. So
Forever molding, forever evolving as well.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely make sure we have the Seer Sage on as well. I know she would be extremely excited to chat with y'all as well. Thank you so much, Rich, for having us, and we just really appreciate like all the support and all the love for the music and the lore. It's fantastic to see the community growing, and really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts that people really love it.
Absolutely, and thank you guys for doing something fun, different, unique, heavy, and just just killer stuff. So, in a time when we need this stuff, so thank you guys, and have a great rest of your day, and let's keep in touch. Can't wait to drop this. Can't wait to talk to you guys again. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Rich.